Realia is what makes the input comprehensible, but you don't have to stop there. You can field questions on the Realia. There's an ingredient, you could say, in language learning that's as essential to language learning as salt is to any dish. Like, no matter how perfectly good your soup is, if it's missing salt, it doesn't taste good. You know what I mean? That one thing, that essential key ingredient in language learning, is the focus of today's video. The term is realia. Now, to illustrate what realia is, imagine that you and I are at an art museum and we're both standing in front of a painting, looking at the painting, and we're talking about the painting. So I might say, oh, I really like this painting, or you say, oh, I like or what do you think of where do you think, we could ask each other questions or we can make statements about the painting. The painting is the realia. It's the thing that you're using language to describe. Now, you might say, well, okay, you're always talking about something, right? So the fact that it has some fancy, like, special name, like in Latin, like, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that very often in language learning, there is no realia. So, and you see this all the time. So, like, imagine that you open your textbook to learn Spanish or German or whatever language, and it's like, oh, like, fill in the blank. Like, there are 10 people or 10 peoples in the park or something like that. And you're supposed to go, oh, the plural of whatever, like, this is the right, like, fill in the blank with the right conjugation. But there's no realia there. Like, there's nothing real there. Like, key part of realia, like, there's nothing real going on. So in this video, I want to talk about how to use realia in your own self-teaching process, no matter what language you're learning. By the way, the reason that comprehensible input is so popular, and for good reason, is because there's realia. So in those comprehensible input videos, which are really good, I could say to you, like, if pretend I'm teaching English, I could say, look at this painting. Oh, there's a person, like, and there's the lake, and there's a sailboat gliding across. I can say all those things, and you're supposed to go, oh, yes, I know what you're talking about, because there's realia. You know what I mean? So I put that painting in ChatGPT and said, ChatGPT, ask me 10 questions in Spanish about this painting. And it came up with these 10. So, ¿qué están haciendo las personas en el parque? Okay? If you need to figure out what that means, then figure it out, but it's what are the people doing in the park. I present to you, I've been presenting this, but like, I officially present comprehensible output, everyone. It's the flip side of the coin on comprehensible input. Look, it is great to listen to someone say, hay muchas personas en el parque. Oh, and hay un barco de vela, like, in a lago, and árbol. That is exceptionally great. That is awesome. That's a great thing to do. There's realia going on there on input. That's what realia is what makes the input comprehensible. But you don't have to stop there. You can field questions on the realia. All right, so what are the people doing? ¿Qué están haciendo? Next one is, ¿qué tipo de ropa llevan los personajes? Right? It's like, what kind of clothing are they wearing? And now I have to say, oh, they're wearing, it looks like this, like, kind of old-fashioned clothing. I have to learn how to say that. See how it's prompting me to say those things? This becomes a game, a back-and-forth game of conversation that I can have with the question itself. The question is my prompt. The realia is the thing. So remember the two of us standing in front of a painting doing questions and answers? This is the formula for you. It's realia turns into questions and answers. This is the E equals MC square of language learning. It's realia flows into questions and answers. The comprehensible input side of things is realia listen. The comprehensible output side is realia speak. You can do both. You can do both at the same time. In fact, you could just have a conversation about the painting. Let your Spanish teacher ask you questions that she or he thinks you can answer. In other words, like, instead of being like, oh, give me your philosophical take on this. If you're a beginner, just say, what color is that? ¿Qué color es? And you go, oh, es verde, yeah. What is this? It's grass. How do you say grass? Pasto, césped, however you want to say. Es pasto. Okay? And then as you grow, you could use the same painting and you'd be like, okay, so now what do you think they're going to do after? Like, you know what I mean? Like you can just be as creative as you want, generating questions and answers around the Realia. So Realia is king or queen. In fact, it's even above king or queen. Questions and answers are king and queen. You know what I mean? Like Realia is like the sun. There's going to be a lot more to talk about when it comes to Realia. For now, just remember, Realia, questions and answers. Those are the three ultimate elements of language learning. And we're coining comprehensible output. We are coining the term comprehensible output. Describe the painting. Find another painting, or a photograph. Realia is anywhere, by the way. We could do this just looking out the window. Like me, my teacher and I, we could look out the window and my teacher says, okay, what do you see? ¿Qué ves? Veo una casa. You see? We're not studying the language. You're using the language to ask and answer questions about Realia. That's like the order of things. Anyway, if you like the concept of comprehensible output, then this is the place to be. And by this place, I mean this YouTube channel. I'm Tony Marsh. My method is called the matrix method because it's a generator. We use the language as a generator, a matrix, matriz, womb. When you like the video, let me know why. If you dislike the video, let me know why. If you want to see more of something, let me know. If you have a question about language learning, about the method, or about something particular in a certain language, let me know. I might make a video about it. Thanks for watching.